আসসালামু আলাইকুম আলমাজ ভাই, কি শুনতে পাচ্ছেন আমাকে?
হ্যাঁ, পাচ্ছি।
একদম ক্লিয়ার।
থ্যাংক ইউ।
সবাইকে আসসালামু আলাইকুম। আমি মুশফিকুর রহমান, বেসিস থেকে ভাইস প্রেসিডেন্ট ফাইন্যান্স।
So with the permission of our Honorable Senior Secretary of Ministry of Commerce, let us start our program today. So let me just formally start the program. So we are still waiting for our chief guest, Honorable Advisor to the Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Salman F. Rahman. Dr. Muhammad Zafaruddin, Senior Secretary, Ministry of Commerce. His Excellency, Mr. Muhammad Mustafizur Rahman, Ambassador and Permanent Representative at the Permanent Mission of Bangladesh in Geneva. Her Excellency, Ms. Natalie Schwa, Ambassador of Switzerland to Bangladesh. Mr. Muhammad Sirajul Islam, Executive Chairman, Bangladesh Investment Development Authority. Mr. Nakib Khan, President, Switzerland-Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce and Industry. My colleague at BASIS, Vice President Mr. Mushfiqur Rahman, Mr. Saad Omar Fahim, Secretary General of Switzerland-Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Respected guests and participants, very good afternoon and salam to everybody. So at the very outset, let me pay my deepest respect to our father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, on his birth centenary, and wish all my fellow Bangladeshi a very happy golden jubilee of our independence. Bangladesh has come a long way in these 50 years. The economic indices, the social indices, all the numbers show a promising growth of our nation. This also has received international recognition when we graduated from LDC to a developing country recently. With young population and workforce, Bangladesh is poised to march forward with determination and tenacity. And we have already proven this last year with an unprecedented GDP growth rate of 5.2 amid the COVID pandemic, which is the highest in this region, by the way. And this year too, it is predicted by Asian Development Bank that the growth will be around 6.8%. So with the government policies conducive to business and investment, and with its mandate of building a digital Bangladesh, this country has become a lucrative destination for investment. At the same time, with a skilled HR pool, Bangladesh is also ready to be the next destination for ICT outsourcing. Bangladesh is still the best kept secret in Asia. Just like Switzerland is much more than Swiss watches or Swiss cheese or chocolates, Bangladesh has more to offer than jute or Hilsa or the majestic Royal Bengal tiger. We shall be discussing the benefits of the investors and the advantages for outsourcing ICT projects to formal launch of our series of programs. The following events will be business meetings, B2B matchmaking sessions, etc. BASIS is grateful to Swiss Chamber for their partnership. It is my great pleasure to welcome the President of the Switzerland-Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Nakib Khan, to give his introductory remarks.
Thank you. Honorable Chief Guest, Mr. Salman F. Rahman, Advisor to the Honorable Prime Minister on Private Sector Industry and Investment. Today's webinar session President and Moderator, Mr. Syed Almaz Kabir, President BASIS, Honorable Special Guests, Excellencies, members of SBCCI and BASIS, and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon in Bangladesh and good morning in Switzerland. On behalf of SBCCI, I welcome you all to this webinar, Bangladesh, a potential outsourcing destination for Switzerland. Our heartfelt thanks to all honorable guests, participants for joining amidst of your busy schedule and during the unprecedented situation of pandemics. Switzerland is one of the first few countries who recognized Bangladesh after our liberation war in 1972. Bilateral relationship with two friendly countries is excellent now. Switzerland is one of the great partners of our country's progress and development. Most of the flagship companies of Switzerland, for example, Nestle, Novartis, Roche, SGS, ABB, Holcim, Syngenta, etc., have FDIs in Bangladesh, and many agents of Swiss businesses are also having sizable business in Bangladesh. Though our current total bilateral trade is approximately 700 million plus CHF, but it's growing very fast. As Switzerland is a landlocked country, a lot of trade is happening via neighboring countries, of which is approximately CHF 7 billion, which is a sizable amount for Bangladesh. In the context of rapid and consistent growth of Bangladesh economy, with a vision of present government under the great leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to be a middle-income country by 2021. Already we have graduated from LDC to developing nation and developed country by 2041. We are really hopeful of having more Swiss investment and business relationship with world-class quality standards, scientific researches, latest technology and knowledge transfer and sharing best practices. The vision to make this country as digital Bangladesh is a reality now. ICT is the most trusted sector for government and expected to be a major source of foreign currency earnings as RMG for Bangladesh today. Bangladesh is on the highway of development, and the global analysts would bet on Bangladesh to make an investment destination and business hub. As our macroeconomic indicators shows great potentials of the country. For example, in 2020, Bangladesh ranked 41st economy with GDP $320 billion, and per capita income was $2,064. As per Outlook 2030, Bangladesh will be 26th economy with GDP $700 billion, and per capita income would be $3,757. So this is one of the fastest growing economy with consistent GDP growth of more than 7% before pandemic, and even the pandemic 5.2% GDP we already achieved. So this is one of the major phenomena for Bangladesh growing scenario. Favorable economic and human development index with demographic dividends, increase of MAC population, socioeconomic and political stability, business-friendly government has willingness to discuss with private sectors while enacting laws, frame policies and regulations. 100% equity and repatriation of dividends allowed for FDI, development of infrastructure under mega projects like Patna Beach, deep seaport, etc. Availability of power energy, 100 new special economic zone with attractive fiscal benefits for investments, special high-tech park for ICT and other high-tech companies. We have strong foreign forex reserves of currently around $43 billion, which is around 10 months of imports, and good fiscal management for holding back inflation. We have a huge number of availability of human resources. That's a very good sign up for Bangladesh for investments. We are embracing fourth industrial revolution, enabling with IoT, artificial intelligence, etc. And the government is wholeheartedly supporting IT sector development. Let's all work together to make Bangladesh an outsourcing destination for Switzerland. Thank you.
Thank you very much, President Rakib Khan. You have rightly said that Bangladesh is actually a very good destination and very, I would say, worthwhile destination for investment, for FDI. And we will definitely hear more about this from our BIDA chairman. But before that, now I invite my colleague, BASIS Vice President, Mr. Mushfiqur Rahman, to make a brief presentation on Bangladesh ICT industry, as well as why Bangladesh is a lucrative destination for investing and outsourcing. So the floor is yours, Mr. Mushfiq.
Thank you. Thank you, Almas Bhai. Can you hear me? Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you so much. Can you, I'm just going to show the slides. Let me know. Okay. Whether you can see it.
Yes.
Yes.
Visible. Maybe you want to make it a full screen. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum, Honorable Chief Guest Salman F. Rahman, Honorable Secretary to the Commerce Secretary, Her Excellency Switzerland Ambassador, dignitaries who are participating in this particular webinar. My name is Mushfiqur Rahman. I'm the Vice President Finance of BASIS. I will try to give you some highlights about the Bangladesh IT and ITS industry, insights and investment opportunities. Initially, we are celebrating 50 years of Bangladesh, just where also we are very honored to celebrate 100 years of our leader, great leader, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Okay, just a second, thank you. So already some of the speakers have already highlighted about the Bangladesh economy and its potential. I'm just trying to go through the slides a little bit fast. You know that per capita GDP, we have already crossed more than 2,000 US dollar. Just IMF, as per IMF, PPP ranking is 38 and projected to be 28 by 2024. GDP growth rate is going to be was more than 5% for the last 16 years. GDP growth rate was more than 6 years in the last 9 years. See, in the pandemic also, we enjoyed a positive growth rate where the whole world had minus 4.4% negative and the Asia had minus 2.2%. Being one of the very small country in the world, and we are very proud that particularly in the production area, first in jute export, second in ready-made garments production, third, such a small land rice and paddy productions, third in vegetable productions, fourth in fish production. And not only this kind of agricultural products, we are trying to say we have got second largest in ready-made garments, and we have a thriving pharmaceutical industries, ship breaking and shipbuilding industries, and we are number 8 position in terms of outsourcing. That means our economy is heading towards not only agricultural, service and manufacturing, we're headed towards a value-added solution towards a digital economy. Now, if you talk about the remittance and foreign investment, 8th largest weight remittance earner, and we have got the foreign reserve more than 10 months of import. And you see in the total in the table that our both FDI, foreign direct investment, and remittance is day by day, year by year increasing and showing the positive growth rate. Now come to our ICT industry at a glance. ICT industry, roughly we have got more than 5,000 registered companies, out of which we would like to show you that 40 plus overseas development companies, offshore development companies, which some of them are joint venture, already working, and some of them have been a track record more than a decade. The local market size is more than 1.54 billion, excluding the telecom sector. And particularly, software export is more than 1 billion cross in 2018. And our government has given us the target, thanks to our honorable Prime Minister and our honorable advisor, Shojib Hassan Wadejoy, and given us a target of $5 billion by 2023. It is included with the IT, ITES, and also some hardware devices, IT product devices. We enjoyed more than 30% growth rate in IT export in the last 5 to 6 years. Now, why? If you think about the under the leadership of this current government, phenomenal IT infrastructure and tech adoption we could able to achieve. Teledensity is more than 99% by 2019. Fiber optic connectivity has been established up to the Upazila level, and projects are ongoing so that its broadband is connected up to the Union Parishad. You see, the very interestingly, internet subscriber was 5 million in 2008. Now it stood more than 11.27 million according to the statistics of BTRC, February 2021. We have got proud to have a Bangabandhu satellite has been launched in 2018. 2 submarine cable already enacted, SIMU 4 and 5. We are expecting another one will be connected pretty soon. 6 ITCs, international terrestrial cable landline connections through the land border, also available. So we have got the redundancy also. And you see the tremendous achievement in power sector. And current government has taken the initiative establishing 29 high-tech park. You see such a fantastic photographs, panoramic view of one of the high-tech park in our country. Talking about our human resource potential, currently we have got roughly 1.2 million more than IT resources or professional working in different sectors, out of which we say that the basis member or BACO, 400,000 working and 800,000 are freelancers. And Bangladesh is one of the second largest earners in freelancing across the world. And our government has given us a target for another 1 million. Another 1 million, which means that more than 2 million IT professionals should be ready by 2023. And we have got the graduate pool of near about 1 million, and out of which more than 22,000 graduates are graduating from every year, and the source is UGC and national universities. We are enjoying the demographic dividend. 65% of the youth age are below 18 to 35. English education is built into our education system. Bangladesh Computer Council, High Tech Park, LICT, BASIS are jointly working with capacity building in different verticals. And talking to our software, IT and export, you see is a very, very encouraging curve. You see it was only 24.0 million in 2001 to 18. Now in 2018, we crossed more than $1 billion. And some of the local IT success stories, which is completely been achieved and developed by the local companies, which we can demonstrate other part of the world: national ID, driving license, biometric verification and verification of mobile phone, government e-Nothi, and during the pandemic, all the files are being processed through this e-Nothi, birth registration, government resource planning, and other projects which has come. Government is going to benefit out of it. Customs automation, Hajj automation, national data center, countrywide 101 institute research and education network. More than 50% of the core banking are being developed and maintained by our local companies. Some of them are being also exported also. And 90% of our feeder applications are being developed and maintained by the local companies. So Bangladesh is the second largest garment exporter in the world, and more than 80% of the garment and 90% of the garment applications, local applications, are done by the local companies. So what we BASIS, Bangladesh Association of Software Information Services, we are doing. We are the leading and the apex trade body of IT Association. We established in 1998. We are representing more than 1,600 members at this stage, and it is increasing manifold. As a basis, we are being associated in major market developments. Just for an example, we do every year the largest IT expo in South Asia, BASIS Soft Expo. We do National ICT Awards every year. We are affiliated with NASA SpaceX Challenge, and 2 years back, our Shah Jalan University got the champion prize. And BASIS also organized this sort of event with the picture. This is also another Oscar for the IT awards. You know the CeBIT Hanover in Germany, the largest IT expo. Chitex here by the Dubai, another largest IT expo. These are some of the glimpses what we do, developing our market in outside and the local also. Now, talking about the collaboration with Switzerland. Switzerland recognized Bangladesh. We are grateful as an independent country on March 13, 1972, and established its diplomatic relations. Bilateral trade between Bangladesh and Switzerland has more than tripled since 2010, which is very encouraging, stood near about 850 million in 2019. Swiss investment inflow to Bangladesh during the fiscal year 2020 stood at around 45 million. So, going forward, why the Swiss company should invest in Bangladesh, and particularly partnering to ICT sector? Very interesting point. We have got 100% tax exemption for export-oriented country, and also for the local IT, particularly who does software development. 100% profit repatriation is possible. The remarkable achievement we have done through our government and a basis for the last 3 years, 10% cash rebate for export in IT and ITSs. Whoever is, let's say, one Swiss company established in Bangladesh and they are earning $1 million US, that means they can get $100,000 US top of that. It makes a business sense. And for this, we are getting the tremendous achievement for the last few years. And already we have mentioned 1 million plus active human resources. So we are targeting for more than 2 million human resources to be ready by 2023. BIDA has already enacted the one-stop service for Bangladesh Investment Development Authority so that you can get the registration as soon as possible. If the Swiss company come in Bangladesh, we have got a reference. We already did export to more than 80 countries. Our major export is in USA. So somebody is exporting from Bangladesh. It's not we are the 8th largest outsourcing destination in the world. So this is very encouraging that we can grow manifold with the collaboration of different countries and particularly the Switzerland. Talking about the price point, we're very competitive compared to our competitive economies. English is the second language for us. And we have got near about 29 high-tech park for IT and ITS industries, where not only IT, different kind of technological innovation can be done, and all the Swiss companies, some of the Swiss company might find it very, very fruitful and conducive. So with that, let's start our technology endeavors in ICT sector towards future prospect for both Bangladesh and Switzerland. Thanks from my side, and thanks to you all. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Vice President Mushfiq. I'm sure that you have seen many of these, the government policies, which are very, very attractive for foreign investments. It's like the government has laid down the red carpet and welcoming all the foreign friends with open hand, open arms. And I must add that we also have a very rich pool of 100,000 ICT professionals working in this country. And many of them are getting skilled enough to handle the fourth industrial revolution and all the skill 4.0, though the frontier technologies. And you will be also delighted to know that Bangladesh is already exporting IoT devices to Japan, to Saudi Arabia and other countries. So we have the skill, we have the skilled human resources, and that is why I firmly believe that our Swiss friends may find it very attractive to outsource their projects, their ICT projects, to Bangladeshi professionals. So we have been talking about our investment policies, government's very, attractive investment policies. And Bangladesh Investment Development Authority has been trying to make setting up businesses by foreign investors hassle-free. They have taken several steps like one-stop services and so on. So we are delighted that the executive chairman is here with us. I request the respected chairman, Mr. Sirajul Islam, to share his thoughts, please.
Thank you, Mr. Kabir. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
Thank you. I believe that the Honorable Chief Guest, Mr. Salman Fazlur Rahman MP, Honorable Advisor to the Honorable Prime Minister, has joined us. Senior Secretary, Minister of Commerce, Mr. Zafaruddin, though I don't see none of them on the screen. Excellencies, respected host, panelists, and participants. Assalamu alaikum, and very good morning to those who are joining from Switzerland, and a good afternoon to participants in Bangladesh. As you mentioned, yes, I'm representing the Bangladesh Investment Development Authority, the Apex Investment Promotion Agency of Bangladesh, and we work under the Prime Minister's office. I'm very eager to talk to you today about opportunities in Bangladesh, which is poised to be prime outsourcing destination for Switzerland. Two of our speakers already mentioned the opportunities that lie here in Bangladesh, particularly in the ICT sector. Last week, we had a webinar with the Korean investors. The Excellency Korean Ambassador to Bangladesh, he was telling that ICT could be another RMG sector for Bangladesh if we can nurture it properly. And I believe that with our very dynamic leadership in the ICT sector, both in the government and in the private sector, the ICT division, they are working very hard and very, very proactively from the government's end, and with the dynamic leadership of Mr. Syed Almas Kabir, I'm sure that BASIS is also working very hard to develop this sector. And you have had the achievement already Bangladesh made in the ICT sector. More than $1 billion is being exported. And we have a target to increase it up to $5 billion by within next 3 to 4 years. And I'm sure that's very much possible because we have the skilled manpower, the young generation. They are very tech savvy. They are resilient. They have the passion for the ICT. And also government is undertaking various initiatives to train them in the ICT sector. So I believe it's a reality that in 3 to 4 years' time, Bangladesh will go a long way in the development of ICT sector. The Vice President of BASIS, he already mentioned that at present 20,000 young men and women educated in ICT related fields enter our workforce every year. According to a study by the Oxford Internet Institute, 16% of the world's online workers are Bangladeshis, who make up the second largest pool of online workers in the world, just after India. You know that India is too big a country compared to us, but we are competing in the world. That's the real good news. This massive potential is heavily promoted by our government, which supports ICT exports through subsidized resources and tax holidays, and also by ensuring ease of doing business in all possible areas. Let me share with you, so for the ease of doing business is concerned, it is not only for the ICT sector. Bangladesh is working towards improving the ease of doing global index based on the scheme outlined by the World Bank. You know that there are as many as 10 to 11 indicators fixed by the World Bank, and BIDA is working as the coordinating body for the government, and different ministries, division, and agencies of the government are working very hard to improve the ease of doing business in Bangladesh. At present, we are not placed in a very good position, but we are working and we are improving. That's the message. Last in 2019, the World Bank ratings put us in 168 out of 190. But the point is, we were one of the 20th best reformer in ease of doing business across the world. And we are working to further improve this. And I believe that in the next report, our position will be much more elevated. And by next October, another one report was due last October that was not published by World Bank. And we were told that this report would have been published last month, but anyway, it did not publish. But we are expecting a jump in October 2021. As the Vice President of BASIS was mentioning, and Mr. Almaz Kabir also mentioned, that BIDA is working to facilitate the private sector investment by automizing the processes. And I personally believe that to make the business processes really easy, there is no other alternative than to go digital. Because you know that if you do it manually, or whatever intent you might have, it takes much more time, and the world is moving very fast. To cope up with the world pace, you need to go digital. That's what we believe, and it is also the policy of the government to digitalize the processes of business. So under the OSS Act and also OSS rule, BIDA establishes a one-stop platform, one-stop service platform. And at the moment, BIDA is providing 42 services related to the business online. It's like you can have access to BIDA OSS platform from anywhere in the world, and you can avail those services online, sitting back at home or in your office. You don't need to come to BIDA office or to some other government offices who are integrated with the BIDA OSS. As an ambitious developing country with rapid growth, Bangladesh is chasing a target of to secure, as I mentioned before, $5 billion in export earning through the tech industry by 2025. Dear participant, for Swiss companies looking for investment in outsourcing, Bangladesh offers economic and political stability, low-cost rent, uninterrupted power supply, high-speed internet bandwidth, and high attractive incentives both in and outside of high-tech parks being set up across the country. Most importantly, quality and efficiency are ensured by high-quality professionals who are available at cost almost 20 to 30% lower than workers in India and Philippines, who are basically the competitor for Bangladesh. Our professionals speak fluent English, as the last speaker mentioned, because this is a second language taught from the very primary school onward, and communicate directly with clients. They are trained to deliver on their promises, and you can trust their judgment and advice. Besides their hardworking culture, what is also very important is their aspiration to write success stories locally and globally. Because of these factors, our ITS industry is witnessing a boost in activity from regional and domestic players alike, with service offering ranging from transactional IT application development and maintenance and IT help desk to high value services such as big data analytics, Internet of Things, 3D imaging, and virtual reality and augmented reality. Leading players such as Wipro, IBM, TCS, NTT Data, and WPP are leveraging our location by establishing delivery centers and joint ventures with local companies. This service focus of Bangladesh BPO companies also include voice services, non-voice BPO, back office services, business consulting, and video production. During the pandemic, our export earnings from computer services and software registered over 15% growth to reach 276 million in the last fiscal year, as the industry resiliently adapted to the new normal. They responded quickly to higher demands for solutions in online education, home offices, and virtual meetings. Dear participants, I assure you that BIDA will continue to work hard to support the entry, operation, and growth of Swiss business in Bangladesh, what BIDA is doing at the moment also. I hope you will reach out to us for any query or support. I look forward to the insights to be shared by other panelists, especially Swiss company Salis, which recently won the Basis Outsourcing Award in Export Excellence category. I hope we will highlight just how profitable, supportive, and comfortable Bangladesh is as an outsourcing destination. With that being said, I will conclude my space. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. And thank you very much once again for your pledge and commitment to keep helping the business world, the business people, and especially our foreign friends to set up businesses here and to make their investments much more easier and attractive. So again, honored to have you here in this webinar. So as Mr. Chairman has just said, that one of our very, I would say, very promising company, Secure Link Services, Salis, in short, they have been doing businesses in Bangladesh, mostly outsourcing businesses and exporting services, ICT services outside of Bangladesh. So the managing director of Salis, Mr. Julian A. Weber, is here. I would invite Mr. Julian to share your experiences, and maybe if you have a presentation, maybe you can share your screen and show us the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Syed Kabir, President of BASIS, Honorable Ambassadors, Ms. Natalie Shuar and Mr. Mustafizur Rahman, Honorable Chief Guest, Salman F. Rahman, Executive Directors, Secretaries, and Chairmen, distinguished guests. Thank you so much for arranging this and being here. I will just share my screen now, as Mr. Kabir has mentioned. So it is, who can share? Okay. I think you can see my screen now. I hope so. Do let me know or give me a sign.
Yes, we can see.
Wonderful. Great. Okay, so usually when I give these presentations, I speak about Bangladesh, how obviously how fantastic the Bangladesh market is and how we have been operating our business here for our international IT business for almost 10 years. Actually, we have our 10 years anniversary this year. Since, however, this time there are also many Bangladeshi representatives of companies here in this webinar, I would like to showcase a few points about the Swiss market. So like how actually we are winning on the Swiss market, and what are a few of the learnings that we have taken along our journey. It's an experience of over 20 years that I'm sharing here. Obviously, since 10 years, we are in Bangladesh, and Celis exists actually since 10 years. But I personally have been in the sector for far longer in the Swiss sector, and that's how I can basically come to these conclusions. So at the bottom, you see a few very attractive points about Switzerland. So first of all, Switzerland is probably the leading country for Web3. Web3 is the decentralized internet that is coming up these days, and will definitely dominate the digital space in the next 10, 15, 20 years. You have heard about the entire blockchain technology, blockchain revolution. That is actually happening in Switzerland, with all the big global organizations having their foundations and their hubs in Switzerland, where Switzerland also has the legal framework that actually enables and empowers these companies. We also have a very long research history in Switzerland in the IT and technology sector. So many security patents, network security, network related technologies have been developed and innovated in Switzerland. Several programming languages are also developed in Switzerland that are very commonly used. And Switzerland has also a very large pool of contributors to the core technology frameworks that are used within our sector. So from that perspective, it is a very technology friendly and very forward thinking small country within Europe. So what is important when you address the market in Switzerland? It's all about quality, 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 quality. It has a far higher importance to do proper testing, proper project planning, proper design, all these things. It's far more important in Switzerland than in any other country. And it's also another learning. Of course, we are selling Bangladesh as a place to do outsourcing in, but once you approach, as a Bangladeshi company, once you approach the market, there is no point in selling Bangladesh, saying you are from Bangladesh. You have to sell your capability. Bangladesh has so many amazing capabilities, with a huge talent pool, with the young crowd, with the many freelancers. This is what has to be sold. The capability that what are these people, or what are you capable to do? Then it's all about also professionalism, being on time, being very tight on timelines, having proper requirements. Projects are championed with requirements. So a lot of process-oriented thinking is very important when you deal with Swiss corporations. And then the thing about the Swiss culture in general is Swiss are very reserved as businesses, as individuals, and you cannot convince them by giving a big sales pitch. You can convince them by really delivering. So you have to come at the point where you can deliver very early on a very successful solution, and you will convince them and they will become your friends for life. That's about Switzerland. On the right-hand side, you see a little bit about our company. We operate everything out of Bangladesh. We have over 400 global employees, 75% of those, 300 plus in Bangladesh. And yes, we are in these different industries here. You can see food and retail, financial services, telecommunication, mobility, logistics, and human resources. With this, I will end and thank you very much for your attention. And obviously, the Swiss and the Bangladeshi businesses are most welcome to get in touch with us. We also do subcontracting. We work with various companies and individuals on the Bangladesh market together for certain individualized, specialized topics. So feel free to get in touch with us. We're always interested to explore opportunities.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Julian. It is actually quite, I would say, reassuring to get all these recommendations from you from the horse's mouth. You have the first-hand experience of doing business, especially the outsourcing business out of Bangladesh. So I'm sure our colleagues, our friends from Switzerland, they will take heed of this and they will also become interested. So thanks again, once again, for sharing your experiences and your suggestions. Now it is my great pleasure to invite Her Excellency, Ms. Nathalie Chua, the Ambassador of Switzerland in Bangladesh, to share her thoughts. I know she has been very a big friend of Bangladesh, and she promotes Bangladesh in all the forums she attends. So, Your Excellency, please, the floor is yours.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for giving me the floor. Distinguished chief guest, special guest, panelists, excellencies, dear participants, members of the Swiss and Bangladeshi business community, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon to everyone here in Bangladesh, and also good afternoon now to the ones joining from Switzerland. First of all, let me thank the Switzerland-Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce and Industry and Bangladesh Association of Software and Information Service Basis for organizing this important webinar. Right at the beginning, let me mention that I do not want to restrict the scope for collaboration between Switzerland and Bangladesh in the field of information and communication technology merely to outsourcing perspective. Indeed, I strongly believe that the two countries have a lot of potential for an even greater collaboration in ICT, and let me tell you why. In various countries, including in Bangladesh, and it has been mentioned earlier by our moderator, Switzerland is often associated with cheese, chocolate, and mountains. That's true, but my country is much more than that. Among other important characteristics such as diversity, solidarity, and strong rule of law, Switzerland has a solid focus on R&D, innovation, and entrepreneurship. It has a thriving startup scene and has been a leading in the global innovation and competitiveness indices for successive years. Here in Bangladesh, backed by the Digital Bangladesh motto, we have a rising ICT sector with a growing number of freelancers and computer programmers who are slowly but surely making their marks on the world stage. And the numbers of these ICT computer freelancer is pretty impressive, I have to say. Therefore, I see a tremendous potential in this sector, and I can only rally behind promoting greater collaboration between our countries in this particular domain. As many know already, promoting trade and investment relations between Switzerland and Bangladesh is a top priority for our embassy. And we also heard earlier that the trade volume between our two countries has almost tripled since 2010. Many Swiss companies, and I know that there are quite a lot of you also today with us during this workshop, have been operating for a long time and are playing a crucial role in important economic sector, even during these times of pandemic. The government representative and economic actor from both Switzerland and Bangladesh often talk about the untapped bilateral economic Bangladesh potential. Only last month, SBCCI, together with the Bangladesh mission in Geneva, and my colleague here from Geneva, organized a webinar on trade and investment potential between our two countries. It was an important step. Also, since my arrival in Bangladesh last year, I sense so much optimism and goodwill around bilateral trade and investment promotion. It is now high time to collectively channel this optimism and prospect into more concrete outcomes. Last November, Switzerland and Bangladesh had bilateral talks on how to give a further boost to bilateral trade and investment and address specific concerns of the Swiss private sector. I have the pleasure to inform you that the two countries have finalized the follow-up action with the Ministry of Commerce, and I see the Secretary with us today, and we have now the follow-up action which we will start implementing together soon. This is all good news, but there are still challenges, and I always mention that, especially in the era of ease of doing business. But I am confident that with further strengthened economic governance, legal security, regulatory predictability, and improved ease of doing business, Bangladesh will become an even more attractive destination for foreign investors, including Swiss investors, in the future. I also encourage the government of Bangladesh to actively collaborate with the existing foreign investors. Foreign investors are ambassadors, our ambassador, and provide advice to companies considering coming to Bangladesh. They also provide advice in understanding each other better. And I think Julian was also very clear in this regard. The socio-economic successes of Bangladesh is an inspiring story. It is on the path of graduating from an LDC by 2026, aspires to become an upper middle income country by 2031, leaving no one behind. Switzerland will remain a committed partner on this journey. I therefore call on the Swiss private sector and potential Swiss investor to explore the market here and its opportunities. I think that there are so many reasons why, and we heard already quite a lot of them today. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency, and thank you once again for the support that you have just pledged, that Switzerland will remain our strong ally and our strong supporter in the future. You also mentioned about the startup scene in Switzerland. I'm sure you have heard about this, but Bangladesh has also is very, very abuzz with all the new ventures that we have been seeing for the last few years. A startup ecosystem has started to, take place or take the shape in Bangladesh. The government is contributing a lot. The policies through a new venture capital company from Bangladesh called Startup Bangladesh. These are some examples of the support that the government is providing. We would love to have Swiss investors, angel investors, venture capital investors to come to Bangladesh and actually look into these startups with innovative products and services, with localized solutions, and start investing in these startups. I'm sure that will be mutually beneficial. And I really, really seek your help and support in this and finding these investors. So once again, thank you very much, Ambassador Shuar. Now it is my honor to invite the ambassador and the permanent representative of the permanent mission of Bangladesh in Geneva, His Excellency Ambassador Muhammad Mustafizur Rahman. As you know that our Bangladesh needs a very good branding because many of the European countries, they have a different type of branding, different type of image of Bangladesh, sometimes a very stereotypical image of Bangladesh. So we really need to rebrand Bangladesh as a country of skilled labor, not only country of cheap labor, because the image that we have projected for the last 3 decades to, of course, that has boosted the RMG industry. But now to boost our ICT industry, which is a knowledge-based industry, we really have to tell the world that we have a skilled HR pool, and it is not only cheap, but it is also skilled. So, and for that, we really need the help of our embassy in Switzerland. So it is my pleasure to invite our Honorable Ambassador, Mr. Mustafizur Rahman. And sir, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. And I hope our chief guest, Honorable Advisor to the Honorable Prime Minister for Private Sector Industries and Investment could join us already. Respected Executive Chairman Vida, respected Senior Secretary, Minister of Commerce, Excellency, the Ambassador of Switzerland, my fellow panelists, participants, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to you all. At the outset, I would like to thank the Switzerland Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce and Industries and Bangladesh Association of Software and Information Services for organizing this webinar. Indeed, it's an honor for me to join you today and to say a few words on this event. By now, it is well known that Bangladesh is among the fastest growing economies in the world. And according to the PricewaterhouseCoopers, Bangladesh has the potential to become the world's 28th largest economy by 2030 and 23rd by 2050. It is also being said by being in the Goldman Sachs list of the next 11 emerging economic powerhouses of the 21st century. Needless to say, the ICT industry would contribute to Bangladesh's future economy as the growth engine. As you know, under the visionary leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister, the government of Bangladesh embarked on a momentous journey towards digital Bangladesh back in January 2009. This timely initiative has already laid a rock-solid foundation for a technology-driven and skill-based digital economy. Indeed, the country's future would be built on this platform through bringing a digital revolution in economic development. A lot has already been said, and the beauty of speaking towards the end is you don't have to say a lot. So I'll try to reflect on the areas which I think I should touch upon as the Bangladesh ambassador to Switzerland in relation to this topic. First of all, I fully agree that outsourcing can play a vital role in a digital economy. And Bangladesh is rising in prominence on the global outsourcing stage, especially when it comes to data sourcing, data-focused outsourcing services. So it is indeed a great news for us to learn that we are exporting IT services to many countries in the world, including UK, US, Netherlands, Norway, Finland, Saudi Arabia, and even some African countries. Recently, the European Commission has selected Bangladesh as an ideal source of outsourcing. So like many developed countries, Switzerland has also a mature market for services, with outsourcing taking place in many industries and in various forms. These include the outsourcing of IT, business processes, property management, facilities management, and general services, general business services. The outsourcing of IT industry mostly covers the development, improvements, and operation of IT products and services. I hope you all will agree that Switzerland may be a small country territory-wise, but it is one of the richest countries in Europe. Because of its locational advantage, being at the center of Europe, its traditional non-hegemonic and non-confrontational approach, and its business-friendly atmosphere, Switzerland has become an important hub for business and investment. I hope my good friend, my counterpart, Ambassador Nathalie Schur, will agree with me. As home to two of the most important global financial centers, Zurich and Geneva, outsourcing in the financial industry is also important for Switzerland. Many renowned Swiss enterprises and companies and the leading Swiss industries, firms and banks, including Novartis, Swisscom, UBS, Swiss Federal Railways, and Swiss Post Office have been outsourcing some of their IT activities to foreign countries. Another thing to consider, Switzerland, mainly Geneva, is a host of 30 plus international organizations. It is also home and host to a number of multinational companies. As a result, reaching out to the Swiss market may open up opportunities for us to expand our business in Europe and elsewhere. According to the Swiss Software Industry Survey 2020, the propensity to outsource is highest among technology and service providers. They are followed by software integrators, consulting companies, custom software manufacturers, and standard software manufacturers. Most importantly, standard and custom software manufacturers have the highest propensity to source products and services from offshore locations. At present, Bangladesh has a number of leading software companies with highly qualified, capable, and talented workforce. You have mentioned about that. These companies offer custom software development, technology and service, software products, software integration, offshore software development, professional outsourcing, and software consultancy. All these products and services offer better performance in terms of quality, compatibility, scalability, and cost effectiveness. And you know better than anybody else. Therefore, Bangladesh could be a very lucrative offshore location for Swiss companies and businesses in this regard. Ladies and gentlemen, last month, the Permanent Mission of Bangladesh in Geneva organized a seminar titled Bangladesh, a Land of Opportunities for Trade and Investment, inviting the deputed Swiss business and representatives and investors. And Ambassador Natalie Schwartz has mentioned about that. In that event, it was heartening to hear from Mr. Julian Weber, who spoke also today, the founder of Swiss IT company Celis, about his first-hand experience of investment in IT sector in Bangladesh. He has reiterated the same sentiment here today. From his practical point of view, we learned how a Swiss business can smoothly and successfully flourish in Bangladesh. And just a few minutes before me, my friend Natalie also highlighted how ICT, among others, could open up a prospective window of opportunity for enhancing bilateral trade and business between Bangladesh and Switzerland. Like them, I also believe that Bangladesh and Switzerland have enormous potentials to expand bilateral trade through boosting meaningful partnership in IT sector, including in the area of outsourcing. For that, we need more Swiss entrepreneurs like Mr. Weber, who would invest in Bangladesh. We need more Swiss companies which would build long-term partnership with our vibrant IT industry. Indeed, it is high time to explore all possibilities to reap mutual benefits through making Bangladesh a rewarding outsourcing destination for Switzerland. And my mission is ready to contribute whatever way possible to facilitate the business relations between our two countries. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador Mustafa Rahman. Thank you for your comments. As I mentioned earlier, but we really need your help to rebrand Bangladesh and market Bangladesh in Switzerland. And I'm sure that we will be in touch. And with the help of Swiss Chamber, we will be able to highlight Bangladesh in the different forums within Switzerland, with the ICT Switzerland and other Chamber of Commerce in Switzerland. So thanks again for your support. Before we go to our Senior Secretary of Commerce, I would like to invite questions. We can just allocate like about 5 minutes if you have any questions or comments by any of the participants. If you do, please raise your hand. And meanwhile, let me request all of you to please kindly turn your videos on so that we can just take a snapshot of our webinar today. Just for a minute, if you could just, turn your cameras on. And if you have any question, please raise your hand electronically, and we can allocate up to 5 minutes to respond to your questions and comments. Okay, so okay, thank you. Is there anybody who is willing to unlock the camera or? Okay, I would request the BASIS Secretariat to take a snapshot. Okay, thank you very much. So I don't see any raised hand. Is there any question, any comment from any participant? Any suggestions? Okay, so let me now turn to our Senior Secretary, Ministry of Commerce, Dr. Zafaruddin. I must say that he is the biggest supporter of ICT and biggest promoter of ICT. He has been supporting BASIS and the ICT industry for a long time now. And we are immensely grateful to Dr. Zafar. And by the way, congratulations is in order. He has very recently, just a couple of days back, he has been promoted to the highest rank of the government bureaucracy as the senior secretary. He assumed the office just a few days back. So congratulations, Dr. Zafaruddin. And please, the floor is yours. We really are eager to hear from you.
Thank you. Honorable Advisor to the Honorable Prime Minister, Salman F. Rahman sir, Executive Chairman BIDA, Mr. Shihazul Islam, Her Excellency Ambassador of Switzerland to Bangladesh, His Excellency Ambassador of Bangladesh to Switzerland, Distinguished President of BASIS, Syed Almas Kabir, esteemed representatives from Switzerland, Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and BASIS member companies, respected members of the business community, good afternoon. We are celebrating the birth centenary of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. At the same time, we are celebrating the golden jubilee of our independence. At the very outset, let me extend my deepest respect to the Bengali of all times, the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Also, I'd like to inform at the very beginning all distinguished participants that our Honorable Advisor, Mr. Salman F. Rahman, is now outside the country on an official visit. As discussed today morning, I like to convey on his behalf his inability to attend the webinar because of his unavoidable situations. But he has been kind enough to wish the success of the webinar. It is really a great privilege for me to be in this program. Switzerland is a trusted friend of Bangladesh with a legacy of long partnership in development assistance, FDI and trade since our independence in 1971. The bilateral trade has been increasing over the couple of years. I'm happy to see that BASIS, in partnership with Switzerland, Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce and Industry, has organized this program to broaden the opportunities of ITS outsourcing from Bangladesh. The Ministry of Commerce plays a key role in facilitating in expansion of internal and foreign trade. Since world trade is constantly changing and expanding, we have been working to diversify export basket of Bangladesh. In our export policy, software and IT services have been declared as a high priority export sector. This is to mention that since the beginning of the exporting software around 2 decades ago, export of ICT products and services has been exponentially increasing over the couple of years, and currently 400 companies are exporting more than 60 countries around the world. The export earnings in this sector already reached $1 billion mark, whereas it was less than even a few million dollars just a decade ago. Under the dynamic and able leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, Bangladesh is experiencing remarkable and stable economic growth and is now one of the fastest growing economies in the world. The essential ingredient behind this growth has been the smart use of ICT to spur progress of all sectors, as the government of Bangladesh has been working relentlessly to build digital Bangladesh to achieve our national dream, Vision 2041. Distinguished participants, we have already received final recommendation by the United Nations to graduate from the status of the LDC. We have challenges, but we are not afraid in terms of trade and investment. This sector has a huge potential, and we hope to cross the $5 billion export mark within a few years. Government is committed to provide all kinds of support to this booming industry. As half of the country's population aged below 25 years and the number of university enrolled students crossed 1.6 million annually, the availability of the IT skilled youth is growing at a much higher rate compared to the other countries in the region. Ministry of Commerce has undertaken a project on ICT for exploring opportunities for export. BASIS is our partner. I believe the future of ICT in Bangladesh is exceptionally bright in the sense of growth prospects. The ICT industry has the potential to transform the business landscape in Bangladesh. We have 3 core infrastructures, namely human infrastructure, financial infrastructure, and physical infrastructure. As has been mentioned by our BIDA chairman and our presenters, Mr. Mushfiq, we have 100 economic zones. So therefore, you please come and witness and invest. And all in the meantime, Minister of Commerce and the Embassy of Switzerland in Bangladesh are working together to bring about positive results in terms of trade and investment. Finally, I hope this program will send a positive message to the Swiss IT companies and investors to consider Bangladesh as one of the promising IT destinations for investments, outsourcing or offshoring. I thank Mr. Almas Kabir, President BASIS, for inviting me and honoring me. He is very committed to advance the ICT sector. With these words, I'm concluding my part. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you once again, Honorable Senior Secretary. And again, we are very, very grateful. The entire industry is very, very grateful for your continuous support. As you have very rightly mentioned, that we really need to expand or diversify our export basket. And software and IT-enabled services is actually it does have the potential to actually overtake the RMG exports. So this is very, very important. And I assure all of you that we are ready. And we once again welcome our Swiss friends to collaborate with us. And as our Ambassador Shua mentioned, that not only outsourcing, but all kinds of collaboration, it could be technical collaboration, it could be a turnkey projects, something like that. We are ready to work with you. We have that skill. We are actually at the end of our program, but I see two hands raised now. So actually three. So I would request to be Mr. Muntasir to be very brief. Let me unmute you and please make your comment or question very briefly.
Thank you, Almas Kabir sir. This is Muntasir. I'm from E-Generation Limited. It was a very nice session where we got to know about the opportunities in Switzerland and how we can work with them. So this is very interesting for me. I'm working in the foreign business development, so I'd like to know what will be the next steps. How are we going to connect with Swiss companies? Will there be like a platform where we can connect with such opportunities? And what will be the how we can present our capabilities and things like that to have more work in Bangladesh. Thank you.
Thank you, Muntasir. Thanks for the question. This is, as I said earlier in my introductory remarks, that today's program was only just a formal launch of the series of programs that we are going to have in collaboration with Swiss Chamber and with the help of our embassy. There will be business-to-business matchmaking sessions we have developed from BASIS, electronic portal and online portal through which businesses, companies from both the countries can seek opportunities and they can check each other capabilities and specialization, and they can do the matchmaking, they can schedule meetings, etc. So we will have those B2B matchmaking sessions. We will have other business sessions in the coming weeks. So we will definitely notify you. So the next hand was raised by Muhammad Alamgir Kabir. Kindly unmute yourself and please briefly mention your comment.
Thank you very much for offering me the floor. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
My intention was to break the silo because the floor was open for question and answer. So I thought to perhaps rather posing a questions to make a comment. But let me first allow to convey my sincere gratitude for hosting this webinar and discussions on potential IT outsourcing discussions. But what I do believe is that the way in future we should explore is that the possibility of collaboration, and that can be done through BASIS and other counterparts in Switzerland. So as you mentioned rightly, the ICT Switzerland is one apex organizations like the BASIS in Bangladesh, where we should look into in future to see how we can forge together to work in future. And also there are other organizations that are like ASUD, SWICO, Swiss ICT. Those are the organizations where we can explore the possibility of forging a collaborative mechanism. And my experience of this laid down is that previously we also did such collaborative mechanism with SBCCI and Swiss Chamber of Commerce. So perhaps that was on the trade and investment side, but to be specifically on IT services, we may have special mechanisms with IT associations. So that is one point. The second point is my request to BASIS would be to align some of the specialized IT service providers, not the 4,000 IT companies. Rather, as my ambassador mentioned, some of the promising outsourcing sectors in Switzerland are financial services, industry, manufacture, and insurance services. And the technical task is there, mostly involves technology and service providing and software integrations. So we can look at some of the and pick some of the companies from BASIS who are particularly have that expertise on that particular area, and then explore the possibility to build a collaborative mechanism with Swiss ICT associations. With that, I thank you for the floor.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Alamgir Kabir. Actually, you have very rightly suggested that we really need to identify areas and specialization, and then work on that, and then market that particular skill or that particular specialization with our Swiss partners, or rather potential partners. But we really want your help, because you are there in our embassy in Switzerland, to connect us with ICT Switzerland and other chambers that you have mentioned, so that we can sign MOUs, we can sign some twining agreement, so that we can exchange ideas, we can exchange, participate in each other's events. So I really seek your help in that. We will be definitely in touch from BASIS with you. We also have Mr. Javed Ahmed, our last person in this question answer session. Please unmute yourself and say your comment or question.
Thank you, Mr. Almas Kabir. First of all, thank you for arranging this very useful and productive seminar. I'm the CEO of Approsoft, and I first of all would like to welcome our guests from overseas, as well as our Honorable Secretary and our excellencies who have joined us. And I just wanted to mention a few things. First of all, I do have some experience from a company perspective. We have been working with Swiss companies since 2016. And over the years, we've built up experience, and we've had some interesting experiences. The other thing is that I've been fortunate to be part of the Swiss embassy, the Bangladesh embassy in Switzerland. I grew up partly in Geneva. I was there for 3.5 years when my father was in the embassy there. And so as a result, I got to know the Swiss culture, the Swiss people. And this way, I was able to really train my team whenever we were doing work for the Swiss companies, what to expect, how to interact with them. Mr. Julian Weber mentioned some very, very critical things about how the characteristics of Swiss people are in general. Of course, not everybody is the same. You cannot never generalize for everything, but in general, you can expect to say something, and there are certain things that you have to be able to respect in terms of the culture and the way that you provide the services. So it's important that whoever engages with the Swiss companies and the Swiss market first has to learn how to engage and work for Swiss companies, understand the culture, learn how to really modify their own work so that it can tune well, it can be compatible with the customers. The second aspect is we also do a lot. We've been doing a lot of outsourcing with overseas companies, countries like Canada and US. And financial services is one of our strengths, same as healthcare. And for financial services, for example, one of the areas that we've been talking about in terms of key areas to look into, you really have to understand that the business concepts of financial services in places like Switzerland or US or Canada are very different from how we see it and what we have in Bangladesh. So the team, whoever is doing work for overseas companies, have to learn the domain, business domain, as well as not only deliver from a technology perspective. So understanding those aspects, the business domain of our customers, is going to be very critical. And if that can be expanded upon or have a good collaborative effort along those lines, that would be great. And the third aspect I would like to mention is that sometimes some Swiss companies that we've engaged or tried to engage with have been a bit hesitant because of language. As we know, French, German, and Italian, and of course, Romansh is also the four languages that are primarily spoken in Switzerland. And English doesn't happen to be one of them that is the official language. But although obviously most people do know and have a good, strong command of that. But from our perspective, sometimes there are people who would prefer to have interaction or the German Language Institute here. Maybe through that we can have a better connectivity and understanding with our Swiss customers. That could be part of the offerings that we coordinate through BASIS.
Thank you, Mr. Ahmed. Very good suggestion. And we again definitely would need the help of our Swiss chamber and the help of our Swiss and the embassy and Ambassador Shua about this, especially training in language. But again, thank you very much for your suggestions. So it is my pleasure to invite the Secretary General of Switzerland Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Saad Omar Fahim, to deliver the vote of thanks and make his concluding remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Almas, President BASIS. So first of all, I would like to thank everyone, those who have managed to join today. Unfortunately, we couldn't reach our Mr. Salman F. Rahman, Advisor, Honorable Prime Minister Office, so due to his busy schedule, but other distinguished guests were present here today. A special thanks to both the Ambassador, Her Excellency Ms. Natalia Chart, Ambassador, Embassy of Switzerland to Bangladesh, and His Excellency Mr. Mustafizur Rahman, Ambassador of Permanent Representation, Permanent Mission of Bangladesh at Geneva. I would also like to thank Mr. Shirazul Islam, Executive Chairman, Bangladesh Investment Development Authority, BIDA. Also a special gratitude to Mr. Almas Kabir, President BASIS, for making this amazing arrangement, and a special thanks to Mr. Nakib Khan, our President of the Switzerland Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce. Also, sincere gratitude to Mr. Zafaruddin, Senior Secretary, Ministry of Commerce. At the same time, a special thanks to all the panelists and all the participants. So today, as Mr. Almas already mentioned, today's meeting, today's webinar is basically the kickoff of the discussion, how we can explore the opportunities together. Switzerland being a very specialized and highly industrialized country, we have a lot to learn and take, and together we both can be benefited. And we really want to explore the new blockchain technologies, IoT, and the automation, industrialization, ERP, and both countries can be benefited by knowledge sharing. So in future sessions, we will try, together with the BASIS, we will try to organize some B2B matchmaking, where both the countries and the entrepreneurs can be connected with each other. Switzerland Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce is basically, it started as a forum back in 2004, and back in 2009, it became a full-fledged chamber. Now we have around 50 member companies. They are mostly into the pharma, then textile machineries. They are into companies like Nestle or Holcim, food and beverage. So we would like to bring more IT companies under our Swiss Chamber umbrella. I will request our counterparts from Switzerland to contact our chamber office and the BASIS office. So together we want to develop more IT business, and I believe both countries can be benefited. Bangladesh has huge talented pool of skilled labor, and we want to, government has actually declared ICT as a trust sector. So we have big dreams for IT, and we want to explore it together with Switzerland. Thank you one more time to all the participants for your valuable time. I really appreciate, and looking forward to see you all again. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Saad Omar Fahim. Thank you, President Nakib Khan. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, our Honorable Senior Secretary, Dr. Zafaruddin, our Executive Chairman of BIDA, and the ambassadors of Bangladesh and of Switzerland, and all the participants. As I once again mentioned, this is just the beginning, and we will continue with the sessions in the coming weeks, and we will be very happy if we receive suggestions and advices from you, and how to make the friendship of both these countries very, very strong, even more stronger, and have mutual business collaboration and benefits. And once again, thank you all. I conclude the session now.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Muscovy. Thank you, President Basis.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, all the participants.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Stay well, stay safe.
Ambassador Mustafiz, thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good Hafiz.
Good Hafiz.